Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Finally Feel Free event. Today, I have such a special guest, Reverend Dr. Temple Hayes, who grew up in South Carolina and spent the earlier part of her career as a business owner. Having served 3 years of military service in the United States Army Reserves, Temple became a Science of Mind minister in 1991 and an ordained unity minister in 2007. Described as a prophet and mystic for our times and the new spiritual leader the world needs today, Temple Hayes is a difference maker, spiritual leader, author, international motivational speaker, humanitarian, life rights advocate, shamanic practitioner, and president and founder of Life Rights and Global Peace Workers. She spent 13 years as a motivational speaker across the United States and abroad for a variety of clients, including Procter & Gamble, Washington Mutual, State Farm Insurance, and Compaq. She's a much sought after and gifted public speaker who supports causes that touch the human heart, improve people's lives, and raise the consciousness of the world. She was a twice featured speaker at Carnegie Hall in 2019 for suicide prevention and awareness and the Never Alone movement. She's a featured speaker on the Mind Dive app and had an active role as a spiritual leader in the movie I Am Never Alone, produced by Mikhail Pascal and featuring Deepak Chopra, Gabriella Wright, and other leading visionaries. Temple, welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here, and thank you for all the work you're doing. We're
Thank you.
all in this together,
Yes, yes, we are. And I actually found you through your book, When Did You Die? So can we just dive straight into that? And
Absolutely. Yep.
yeah, I want to ask you, so how does somebody, we're all living, obviously, unless we physically left the planet, but what is it? When is that moment when someone feels like they're maybe spiritually dying, like when they're feeling disconnected and just feeling like they're not really living what they're here to live?
Well, the measure is always the energy level. And when you first realize that you are lacking in energy, then it's time to recalibrate or to readjust.
Mm.
And we have our work cut out for us because we're surrounded by times that want to sell products, want you to feel less than, want you to feel like you need something else. We have an immensity of resources inside ourselves.
Mm.
And the other part of it that we are programmed is that we are taught that when you go through hard times, wow, you just got to get through it. Oh, you're going to survive, my dear. You're going to make it through it. Yeah, that's how you feel when you're 40. Oh, yeah, 50, it's all downhill. It's all that mumbo jumbo made up stuff, and it's not true. It's true if you buy into it. If that becomes your soul song, it will
Mm.
become true. But if you hold the capacity, my feeling is that we're born once and then we're created throughout our lives. And I talk a lot about this in the book, When Did You Die? Because you're created through your hard times, your challenges, your losses. And if you do the work through those, on the other side, you have more energy than you've ever had in your life. And that's the whole process. And so you start to ask yourself those in depth self analysis questions.
Mm.
Is this relationship giving me life or is it taking it? Is
Mm.
this job, is it motivating me and inspiring me, or is it zapping my energy? Are these people,
Mm.
we do it sometimes with friends or relationships. Are
Mm.
they lifting me or are they pulling me?
Mm.
And it's not as you know, which is why you do what you do. It's not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing. It
Mm.
truly is an ongoing journey. I just have gone through this personally with my mom. My mom
Mm.
died about 6 months ago,
Mm.
and there's been some rough patches.
Mm.
And I'm the oldest child and the only daughter, and there's been there's been some rough patches. But what I do is I'll contact where I'm speaking or whatever I'm doing and saying, I need to take a time out. I need to
Mm.
go inside to that dwelling place and do the work and sit with the pain and feel this so I can get on the other side of it. And
Mm.
that's the process that we call life. It amazes me that people want to be spiritual teachers and authors and hosts, but yet they avoid going through anything.
Mm.
Like, I had people come to me and say, one day I'll get in touch with you. I'd really like to take your training courses. I'd really like to be a minister, but I'm waiting until I don't have any problems.
Okay.
And I go, well, contact me in the afterlife, because if you don't ever have any problems, who are you going to help?
Mm.
Because we heal people through the capacity of what we've healed ourselves.
And
So
that's so
that's a little
important.
bit of it. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
little bit of it to kind of lay some groundwork for you.
Yeah, because that's just so important, because I think when you are a healer or spiritual leader, it's like people expect you to be this perfect thing that has come out the other side and you've got no issues of your own and you've figured everything out. But actually, it's like, if we're still on this planet, we still have things to figure out. And it's not to look for that perfect role model. It's actually to look for somebody who's in touch with their heart, who's done enough work on themselves, who've actually been through challenges and come out the other side so they can help you also navigate that. So I'm really happy that you touched upon that.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing of it is, and this was a real shocker for me as I became sober at 29. So it's been a minute.
Mm.
And as I delved deeper into my calling, which I
Mm.
got when I was 5 years old, was that I thought, with the trends going on at the time,
Mm.
that spirituality, you get to a place where you're like, and and everything's just butterflies and beautiful. Spirituality doesn't replace being a human being. It
Mm.
actually enhances it. So
Mm.
if you're in that raw spirit of life and that energy, then you're not a thrilled person when somebody flies to another country and kills a hippopotamus. That
Mm.
doesn't sit right with you. You're
Mm.
not going to be okay that things have happened in Maui and it's not happening enough to help the people, because
Mm.
your humanity becomes enhanced, because you
Mm.
start to really step into the deeper law of creation, that
Mm.
everything has purpose and meaning, not just you.
Mm.
And I feel sometimes that we're creating a lot of spiritual narcissism. It's about me. I'm on this show. Look at me. I'm not referencing to what you're doing, but I'm just saying, generally speaking, I measure my good by how many followers or if I'm on
Mm.
TV or whatever. But the
Mm.
deeper part is, as the Hopi elders say, how do you live? And how
Mm.
do you sit with what is going on around you? And what difference do you make about that? Do you
Mm.
make some kind of dip? And the truth of the matter, as you know, which is why you're so passionate about what you do, if everybody would do a little something,
Mm.
nobody would have to do a big something. We
Exactly.
have work to do. We have work to do. We have
Mm.
Mother Nature. People say, "Oh, I think of you as radically positive," and I am. I'm
Mm.
radically positive that we all need to get busy here and do
Mm.
something
Mm.
about what's going on, because
Mm.
Mother Nature, she's crying.
Mm.
I mean, and getting our attention. So
Mm.
it's not a thing to get into fear about.
Mm.
We just need to wake up on a deeper level.
Yeah, and that's a message to every single person, because some people might just not, and talking about, your book, When Did You Die? Like some people, part of that I feel is people not understanding their own power and their purpose and thinking like, some people do, some people actively are here, you know, they know their calling, they know what they're here to do, and they're actively doing it and going through the challenges. But there's some people who don't realize how much power they have, like just by being on this planet, and how even the smallest thing and that they can do create such a big impact. So I think it's a message to anyone listening, like you are so super important. Like you might not know yet what you're here to do. Maybe I don't know what phase of journey everybody's in, but the fact that you're here is super important. So Temple, I just want to go back to when you talked about energy, right? Because you said that is the indicator of, you know, where you're at with everything. So what's like, because I know sometimes when you talk about energy, people think they have to be like buzzing with just loads of energy and they can get through so many things in the day. And other people might think, well, it's more of a calm, fulfilled feeling. So what's the kind of ideal way that that energy feels in your body when you're healthy and you're alive?
Well, you know, that's the secret of life. It's not either or. It's
Mm,
not, oh, look at Temple, she's off the charts.
mm,
It and I'm not that kind of person. I'm introverted and I
mm,
don't want that. Well, welcome to the club. So am I. I'm
mm,
extremely extroverted and extremely introverted. The measure isn't I can't be that, I want to be that. The measure is that you know in your own heart if
mm,
you aren't expressing with the energy you had when you were 20 or 25 years old.
mm,
You know that on some level, you know it. And so it's about being honest with yourself and
mm,
allowing yourself to say, where am I being depleted? Is
mm,
where am I being depleted? And where am I being a martyr?
mm,
Where am I doing things that I really don't want to be doing? And
mm,
therefore, if I'm doing something I don't want to be doing, it's really not fair to the people or the experiences that I'm doing it with.
mm,
So you become really checked into it's like we've taught people for 30, 40 years, don't be a victim. But
mm,
when you call somebody and they're like, oh my gosh, and hello, and I'm in my car, but I'm so busy and I can't talk to you right now. And you're going, whoa, you know, that's martyrdom. You are in control of your calendar.
mm.
And so you're in charge. The calendar isn't in charge of you. And so your language also takes your energy. I'm not ever busy. I'm
Mm,
extremely creative,
mm,
you know, but controlling the calendar and working with that is part of what, you know, we do. And likened to what you said about the part about it is that we're not here to get old. We age,
mm, mm,
but old is a myth. Old is something that we've been programmed to believe that is natural, and it's not. Aging is natural. A few wrinkles here and there, they're natural,
mm,
but getting old, no. There's lots of people that die energetically long before they physically die.
mm,
And there's one thing that you said that I want to address because I haven't spent a lot of time really meditating about this. But when you made a reference earlier of, you know, people, well, they may not know their purpose or they may not. Well, you know, when the hurricane's coming, people know their purpose. They do the first thing they can grab hold of to help themselves, their family, their animals, or something else.
mm,
And we're still not getting it in
mm,
our society how crucial the climate crisis is.
mm,
And while people sit and wait on their purpose, see, I don't know if they will ever get their purpose
mm,
because, according to the law of cause and effect, in my understanding,
mm,
it's when the man's at the corner and you do nothing, and
mm,
your neighbor is hurting and you do nothing because you're waiting on your purpose. I don't know what my purpose is. I got to go to this other workshop to figure out my purpose. See, I don't know if you'll get the gift of your innate purpose, because every purpose that calls your name, you deny it. You understand what I mean?
I really
It,
do.
it's
Yeah.
like I've met the most amazing, famous authors that talk about kindness and compassion, but try to talk to one of them. What do you want? No, I sorry, no. I mean, come on.
Mm.
So I don't want to sound self-righteous, but I think it's a whole lot more important to live a book versus writing one.
Mm.
And we need to make sure, if we call forth any innate missing in our culture today, it's incongruency. Because living life with natural laws and being a difference maker isn't about how well known you are. It's about the people and animals and sentient beings that cross your path. Are you known to them?
Mm.
That's, and when they know you, are you who you say you are? Are you this or that? Have you exceeded your bio in everyday living? So that's something that's why I started talking about this idea of being a difference maker. Is you've got 13 things to choose from right this minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I mean, you could even just go knock on your neighbor's door and say, haven't seen you in a while. How are you? But I believe if you live in the practice, that you will be gifted more opportunities to
Mm.
serve. You know, I don't know if you're aware, I have an organization called Global Peace Workers. And right now we're helping a village in outside of Kenya.
Mm.
And the last time it was that, or it was the school in Haiti, or it was the people down the street in Florida. So it's little things make a difference. Anyway, as you can tell, you got me all worked up. Thank you.
No, but that's so important. Little things do make a difference. So you don't have to always be looking at, what the next big thing. We're all different, we're, like you said, we're all in this together. We all have different things, but what is important is everybody can do something right now. Everybody can do something, like a little thing can turn into, you shouldn't measure in that way. So it's like everyone is important. Now,
Right.
Temple, you speak about 8 steps in your book, and I'm
Mhm.
sure we don't have time to go through all of them.
No, we don't.
But could you maybe give us an introduction of some of those steps so people
Absolutely.
can
Well,
know
one
what
of
your
the
book is
things,
about? Yeah,
absolutely. One of the things I can do is I can invite everyone to go to templehayes.com,
put that down below.
Hayes, templehayes.com, and you can download for free the first chapter of the book, because I really believe in this work so much. It was gifted to me in a vision many years ago. And also that I use that title of the book. And let me tell you, publishers said to me, if you use the title, When Did You Die? The book sales are going to die.
Because you put the
Because
word die in
nobody
it. Yeah,
nobody wants to think about death and dying and
yeah,
all that. And I
yeah.
said, well, that's what was gifted to me. So that's what I must do.
Mm.
So the 8 steps are, and what I love about this book is that through my years of shamanism, which means the study of infinity and wholeness, through
Mm.
my 10 years of sitting with my teacher on long retreats, there were exercises that were developed. So this isn't just a book with concepts. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. It's not about that. It gives tried and true exercises that, if you're willing to work and spend the time on them, it
Mm.
will transform you, and it gives you tools that you can use that are lifelong. And this book can save you lots of money on workshops because you'll be doing the work yourself. So that's one thing.
Mm.
But one of the things that I use in the book is that, the song, the hokey pokey,
Mm.
and put your whole self in.
Mm.
And it says, you put your whole self in, you switch your whole self out, put your whole self in, and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's a simple idea, but live that idea.
Mm.
You don't have to wait until you totally turn yourself around to put your whole self in.
Mm.
Example, someone loses a pet and they're 20 years old and it hurt. So, okay, for the rest of their lives, it's like, no, I can't go through that again. You're cheating yourself of life because you could surround yourself with this unconditional love. I've coached people, all kinds, celebrities, different people from all walks of life, and they're still talking about 25 years ago, their ex-husband or their ex-wife or and it's like, but you're missing your life now.
Mm.
Where are you not putting your whole self in? So that's one thing. The other thing is being aware of our shadow work, what
Mm.
needs to be done.
Mm.
The other thing is that we are being surrounded by religiosity,
Mm.
which is human made,
Mm.
not spirit made. And it's very different because a lot of the human made religions are to control you and lock you in a box. And
Mm.
then you die in a box also.
Mm.
So, as long as you believe that something on this planet one day is going to swoop in and save you, I'm sorry, you're going to miss a whole lot of your life.
Mm.
The one energy of that consciousness is that you save yourself
Mm.
by living messages of a Christ consciousness, of Krishnamurti, of Krishna, of Buddha, of Jesus. That is your task, is to live a life accordingly in the life they taught, not the fear that evangelism is trying to dupe everybody into you're not yourself. It's hard for me to grasp that in 2023,
Mm.
with all the data and all the information, that people aren't learning that there is a way of living intuitively and spiritually through your direct GPS, your God personalized system, your navigating system, and you know what to do and when to do. When you don't do it, it causes pain. When you
Mm.
do it, it's an opportunity for you to discover more possibilities and to be a role model for other people. So
Mm.
there's many ideas and stories about this thing called life, in the book, and it's 360 pages long. So it's filled with. It's not a memoir, but
Mm.
it's filled with things of how I transform myself and how I stay so young.
Mm.
So that that's it in a nutshell. And I don't want to talk the whole time because you're a voice for good as well. So,
No, yeah, no, I'm just taking it in and just thinking about even the GPS system that you talk about, the quest, because I always think about what my audience, just what all of our audiences would want to know, and I can just sometimes hear thoughts. um, and I know that sometimes people feel that they have followed their GPS system, or in a compass or in a guidance, whatever you want to call it, and it's kind of led them down something that wasn't what they wanted or anything like that. And I just want to talk about a little bit about, like, that you can't really make mistakes and you can't really get it wrong. Like sometimes you go through certain experiences because it
right.
shapes you as a person, or you learn something, you learn a lesson in that which transforms your whole life and your whole life purpose. So there's certain things that we have in the spiritual culture or personal development culture, and some of it is like missing key bits of information, and that's why I always kind of, and I think that you're really good at like saying those missing bits of information as well. So what would you say, about someone who has that kind of thing? Like, I did follow my intuition, I did follow everything, but it led me here, and now I don't trust myself.
Well, first of all, you if you're living a true, authentic spiritual life, you've got to give up right and wrong, and you've got to give up good and bad, because there's no such thing. That's taught behavior. that's parenting, that's authoritative behavior. That's how big leaders point at you, and you just we're herded to just do whatever they say. Got to
Mm.
give that up. If you're truly wanting to be an authentic human being with spirit guiding your life, that language you got to give up altogether, and you must learn to live in
Mm.
both and so if you're telling me that a person is telling you, well, I followed my intuition, but it didn't lead to something that made me happy and I don't trust myself, what I would tell you is you never have trusted yourself. Because if you really trusted yourself, you would trust that what occurred was necessary to get you to the next step. It's like someone saying, oh, I want to be a multimillionaire, and the most they've ever made in their life is $40,000. Well, you're going to follow your God personalized system, your navigating system. You may take another job. You may start another business. You may have two or three things that don't work out like you think they should. But if you don't abandon yourself and
Mm.
you don't stop the process, you'll see what you're doing is you're preparing your consciousness that when your millions come in, you feel like you've been part of it and you've
Mm.
earned that awareness. Or, people are so fascinating to me, like, oh, I just want, I want to be like some of the princes and just have somebody love on them and everything. Um, but yet they have no relationship with themselves. I mean, they can't even accept a compliment without apologizing.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you might wind up, and I know I was one of those people.
Mm.
I came from such toxins and drama and codependency and that a rageaholic dad and a drug addict mom, that all doctor given, okay, but out there. And so I was everybody else's first and me last. Everybody else is first and me last. Everybody else is first and me last. So when I would attract with my GPS a relationship, I would sabotage it because I couldn't handle that I was who they were saying I was. I'm like, oh, no, no, I'm more comfortable with the drama. This isn't natural for me. So
Mm.
we all go through training. But if you really are listening to your inner guidance, then if you trust yourself, you will stay the course because the magic is right on the other side.
Amazing. What an amazing. Oh, I just feel like we've covered so much ground in this interview. And Temple, thank you so much. We're going to put all your links down below for people to get the first free chapter of your book, to go actually purchase your book and also be part of your community. Temple, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. It's been my pleasure to be with you.
Take care. Hello, Soul Family. I really hope this interview helped you to finally feel free. Remember, it's not too late to be part of the VIP Sacred Circle, and at 99% off, I'm super excited to invite you to lifetime access to all the interviews and the complete event schedule so you can customize your viewing experience. You get an exclusive all-access gift pass, which means you can dive straight into the virtual goodie bag of gifts right now. You get a private one-to-one future projection session with me, where together we will craft and connect with your highest timeline 5D quantum future self. You also get a transformative month in the Sacred Soul Experience Mastermind, where we break through constraints of time and take leaps in health, love, wealth, and spiritual alignment. You receive laser coaching for your questions and create breakthroughs in your personal journey. This offering is here for you for just $99, and my intention is to support you wholeheartedly on your journey towards inner freedom, conscious love, and celestial connection. Act quick. This is a time-sensitive offer and will be updated after a certain date. So much love.